Live on the set, and I'm going to take you around the world with me. Live a dream as a minimalist CEO. Turning my clients' dreams into reality is what I do, showing that success is truly for everyone. Hey, you guys, I've got new shows weekly. Stay tuned and live your best life.
Testing, testing. You guys out there? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me out there, baby? In the Twitter sphere, the LinkedIn sphere, everywhere. Can you hear me? I'm checking my microphone. If you can hear my lovely voice, please let me know. We're talking DEI, you guys. DEI, some crazy stuff, some raw truths. You know how I feel about DEI and folks begging for jobs at companies. They only go in there to help anyway. So you guys grab your snacks, grab your coffee. Good morning. Come on right on back. We got 3 minutes plus, y'all. Checking the mics, baby. If you can hear me out there, give me a thumbs up. Share this, like this, love this. This is DEI, you guys. Some raw truths I know you want to hear about. You've been asking me about it, so we're going to talk about it. So you guys, grab a snack. Stay right here. Share it, like it, love this, and we'll see you in about, 3 minutes and 13 seconds, baby.
Make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger than ever. Hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better. 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 Work it, work it, work it, work it.
Stroll down the runway, another payday, cover of magazines. And when they see me, they wanna be me. I am the fantasy. Cover girl, put the bass in your walk. Get so, let your whole body talk. Cover girl, put the bass in your walk. Head to toe, let your whole body talk. Two Guamas Chinese, red carpet TV, valet my limousine. Box office sweetie, and Oscar nominee. Now watch me snatch trophies. Woo! Cover girl, put the bass in your walk. Head to toe.
If you out there, y'all, I'm getting ready, honey. We're going to talk about this. You guys share this and like this. We're getting some DEI truths, some myths, some crap they've been telling you. I'm telling you we're going to get into this. Share this and like this. I'm mainly talking to my folks over in LinkedIn Live. So if you're on LinkedIn Live right now, you definitely want to see this. This is Good Morning America. Good evening. Share this, like this. Testing my sound. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Now walk. Walk. Now walk. Stroll down the runway, another payday, cover of magazine. And when they see me, they wanna be me. I am the fantasy. Woo!
Hello out there, testing. Yes, baby, it's here. We can hear my voice out there. We got 10 seconds, y'all. Go ahead and show what's up, y'all. Stay here. This is Ron DeSantis, y'all. We get ready to start this show right off in 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Let's go, y'all.
We are also going to eliminate all DEI and CRT bureaucracies in the state of Florida. No funding, and that will wither on the vines. I think people want to see true academics, and they want to get rid of some of the political window dressing that seems to accompany all this. So that's no longer going to be in the state of Florida, and I think we probably are the first state that's actually leading by example. But I can tell you those bureaucracies are not representative of what the people of the state and the taxpayers of the state want.
Okay, you guys saw that right there. Good evening, you guys. Here in the state. Good morning, so glad to be talking to you guys. Kareem Jackson, I'm live on the set with you guys this morning, and they got me this crazy topic about DEI. Y'all keep asking about it. They played that Ron video in the front because I want to let you know it's real. It's time, pretty much, you guys. You know my opinion on this. If you guys watching me at all, it's time to stop begging, because here's some raw truths about diversity, equity, and inclusion today. Get into a definition here. Let me see here. We've got a video here I want to play with you guys in just a second that's going to break down this definition for you. But I just wanted to get in here and explain something to you real quick. Since you get in here, LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, but pretty much LinkedIn Live, I'm talking to you. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is not what it used to be. And pretty much now, when you guys, I say it a lot on LinkedIn, if you guys are watching my posts and stuff, the whole stop begging thing. But pretty much I'm really, I kind of feel that way, because I really feel like right now, we just see so many people jumping into it because it's a corporate thing. It's a career thing. They're making over $100,000 a year doing this stuff. It means a big deal. But at the end of the day, I think we've been doing it for a while. Now that we're in it, because I've been in the DEI space for like 25 years. I started way back in the day before they even called it that, when you couldn't even get a job. All they would ask you to do was come in and consult. You know, I was there with the first black ads for Cadillac. When Burst and Rain lost McDonald's and they got broken up, and now they got black firms and Latino firms, I was there doing all of that. When they had their first ads, there were black folks for Cadillac. Cadillac was in denial, if you can believe it. There was a time that they didn't even think that black folks bought their cars. So it started in the whole consumer space, right? Because they weren't trying to hire black folks. That was not what it was about. Get in here, you guys, live. Get in here, you guys. Let's talk about this, because we're going to break down some DEI myths today that I got into before. You guys have been hitting me up to have this conversation again. If you guys want to chime, we're live on the set, you guys, right now. You can really get into this. Let me look here real quick. Mal in the back studio. You guys say hello to Mal back in the back studio. And James is here as well. Thank you very much, Mal. Thanks for being here, brother. I think this first video that I have for you guys to see, because a video is worth 1,000 words, you guys. So the first video, I'm going to look at my list here, Mal, but I think at number one is talking to you about the definition of the definition of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think that's it. Let me look here and see, because you guys, I want you to see this, because we're going to go through this. It's not going to be a long show. It's kind of a half show. We don't have any guests. We're going to be talking all about this. But really what we want to kind of see is we want folks to really understand that when it comes down to it, the diversity, equity, inclusion situation that you guys are fighting for is kind of old school. These companies today, they know they need it. They know it's messed up. That's why you're there in the first place. But instead of them playing on your emotions, playing on your professionalism, making you the strength, the psychologist, the black friend, the Mexican friend, the all around, the events, the cheerleader, rah, 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 you're not in the rooms with the money. You're not in the influence rooms, because they are fighting for you to realize, because they don't want you to know this. It's a secret. I'm telling you, I've been in this for over 2 decades. They don't want you in the room, DEI people and companies. If you're doing this, this is a mistake on your part, and it's going to bite you in the ass eventually. But they don't want you in the room. You know, California has made it a law now to diversify your boards. A freaking law. I mean, it's cute. It's great. America, I got you. But anyway, it's the situation right now is that you're not in the room because you're not tied to money. You're not tied to market share, demographic. Let me look into this video. They're asking about the video that's in here. No, not that one. Let me look at this list here, because I want you guys to see this. But you guys, these companies, they know exactly what they're doing. You guys, I apologize. I'm in the studio. Believe it or not, the air conditioner's on, the fan is on. It is summertime out here. I'm in the Philippine tropical islands, and it is still hot, okay? I was going to wear a suit, but I said, oh, forget that. I'll hold a little freedom here, a little freedom shirt. But you guys, these companies, they don't want you to know this stuff. That's the whole situation. They don't want you to know. And if you're out there struggling, you're making this money, you're doing all this, and you're on LinkedIn, you're rocking it, you're doing videos for them, you're busting your ass for them, and they're not doing crap that you need. Remember, it's a Black History Month now, February 1st, baby. This is a good episode. We can talk about this because it's kicking off Black History Month. And a lot of y'all companies on LinkedIn are going to fuck this completely up, okay? Y'all are going to be out here ruining your company's image with all these diversity, equity, inclusion, Black History Month situations. And I'm just talking to everybody. But I think the one thing that we need to understand and get on the same level with, whether you're in the DEI space or you're in the whatever the hell they want to call you, you're in bringing Black folks, people of color, making them happy, keeping them happy. That's old. That's like 1975, maybe 1980s. You know, nowadays it's a brand. It's a service. It's the reason why we know the NBA. It's the reason why we know Nike. It's the reason why we know, many of these companies because of their diversity. Back when they only serviced white folks and white men, no one knew who the hell they were when only white dudes were playing in the NBA. Give me one name. And Larry Bird is not included. Give me one name of a white dude in the NBA before Larry Bird. I'll wait. So initially, for Black folks back then, to give you a little history lesson, okay? Look for this video while I'm talking about this. I can talk about it. Look over here. The truth of it is, what happened is that Black folks, we were sitting around. You can learn from us, okay? Asians, Latinos, gays, everybody. You can learn from Black folks here. Look at history. We've made the mistakes, and we're learning from it ourselves. So you guys can learn from it yourself. Initially, it was all about, let Black folks play, and we want to play, and let us in, and we fought in the picket lines, and we did all this stuff, right? To where it came up, and now all of a sudden, we're worried about the emotional side. We're worried about how we feel and happy and joy and included and all this bullshit. When these white folks that own these teams, which are the same people that still own these teams, wasn't no Black owners. They had no customers. They were not making money. It is debatable, but the Negro leagues were making more than the NBA at the time on their own. If you talk about profit, they were much more profitable. I'm just saying, right? So initially, Black folks had the emotion of getting in and being part of it and being included, which is great. That got us in. And thank you for the NBA that you know today. All the brands, everything that you know today is from 3 Black folks in 1950. 3. There's 3. And I think 1 or 2 of them quit and said, fuck this, I ain't dealing with it. It's too much. If I remember right? 3 in 1950. It's not that long ago. To where now all of a sudden the NBA is a global phenomenon. The same with hip hop, the same with everything. So these companies, they didn't care. They fought to have the Black dudes. They dealt with the issues because they saw $1 billion. Now that's multi-billions of dollars. They saw a way to save their bankrupt NBA. So my disposition today, we're going to be talking about this. You can chime in. You can be part of it. I'm going to show some videos that kind of show what I'm talking about. So you kind of see it's not me. I got a whole bunch. I want to really just get you guys exposed to, because when it comes down to it, you guys understand something. You can stop begging now. These companies, if you walk in there and you tell them exactly how much they're losing, how much they learn, forget how it looks. Forget the fact that people quit. Forget all that crap. Go to the front of the house, not the back of the house. Don't be the slave master anymore. Be the foreman. Because what happens is these companies are realizing that there is innate, undeniable, okay, income that comes from diversity of your books, diversity of your market share. And the cheapest way to break into a market, whether it's the American market, the British market, the Filipino market, the easiest way to break into a market is to have people on the inside from the market. They know this. but you're so happy just getting in the plantation. You're just so happy to have a job. I'm sorry to sound frank like this, but it's morning. I want you to wake up with this on your damn mind today because it's Black History Month. We're so excited to get the white contract, to get the deal, to get the DEI job that we forget if they paying you $100,000, how much are you making them? And that's not a rude thing to talk about because in those boardrooms, that's exactly how they talk. And you know what? When you flip your paradigm from a slave master, manager, executive type mindset, and then you go in to seeing we are a revenue stream. We are a market share. Then you start realizing that, yes, if it's more diverse in the office, if it's more diverse and everyone feels great inside the company, then by default, if you've got 1,000 employees and 10% of them are Black and you're doing so great with your diversity, that means that 100 people out there that are Black may be also buying your products now. Maybe their families might be drinking your drink right now, or they might be going to whatever. Usually minorities, we support where we work. All of a sudden, you know, this, if you work in retail in the malls, you know, you got a Black or gay, you know, or Latina, you know, maybe some Asians, honey, right, working in your Gap store. They buying more shit than the customers are. You making $100,000 a month just off the employees because they're pushing stuff. They know people. People walk by the windows of your store. Now all of a sudden, Asians are walking in. Blacks are walking in. There was a time when Black folks didn't know who the hell Gap was, Tommy Hilfiger was. So I think we need to stop falling for the okie doke. And I'm looking for this video. I'm sorry, you guys. Yeah, I'm looking for this video. I want this. This explains it more than what I think I can explain it. So I'm gonna give you the number in just a second. But yeah, I think that's number 2, you guys. And I'll get to number 1, which will after this one. But I want you guys to see this video really quick. Check this out. That what diversity looks like. I grabbed this, you guys. I got these folks from TikTok because TikTok online. One thing I like about it more than even on LinkedIn Live and all that. We're live on TikTok too. Is that they're a little more real. It's a little younger generation, and a lot of you guys, especially here Black History Month, could stand to go listen to the kids, the quiet, you know, quitting group. You can go listen to them because that's what you're up against. That's what you're competing against. That's what diversity, equity, and inclusion looks like in the future. So you guys, Kareem Jackson Live, you guys, I'm going to go to my intro really quick, if you don't mind. Go to my intro really quick. Then I'm going to play this video. Got to pay one bill, you guys, play a commercial here. Then come right back to me, and we're going to talk more about what diversity is, you know, equity and inclusion, kind of break down the meanings. Yeah, that what diversity looks like video, bro. But play the intro, so get these guys. Let them know you guys are here with Kareem Jackson Live. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate it. We're going to be at a morning show, by the way, tomorrow. So we're going to be evenings tomorrow in the U.S. and evenings on Friday in the U.S. Yes, definitely. And then, of course, we're off for the weekend. We'll see you again on Monday next week, you guys. But here, you guys, here's my intro. And then check out this video about what diversity is. She says it a lot better than me. Go, you guys.
Success is for everyone. You're special. You're live on the set with Kareem Jackson. Kareem Jackson is here. Turn your dreams into reality. Remember, baby, success is for everyone. Live on the set. New shows weekly.
Hey, you guys, Kareem Jackson, you were live on the set. I've got some news to tell you. 10 years ago, I left California, USA on the beach, and I got on a plane. I went to the tropics, and I reinvented myself. I wanted to turn my dreams into reality. I had a great time, great friend. I published magazines, books. I meditated. I sipped coconuts, you guys. I had tattoo competition, weekly shows, and I want you guys to know I sat down, and I wanted to write step by step how I did it. How did I get free? How did I outsource everything? How did I get to where I could run my company from my laptop And now I finished it. It is done. My new book, you guys, Outsource Everything, is out now. I finished it. I'm telling you all about how I gained my freedom, how I live in the tropics next to the beach in a beautiful lifestyle, and I still run my business. I outsource everything. My new ebook, it's out now, you guys. It's available right now, you guys. I made it to where freedom is here for you. You can get the same freedom that I did. It's totally possible, and it's totally doable. And this has never been a better time than to do it. Grab my new ebook, Outsource Everything, on Google Play and the App Store, you guys. And of course, KareemAntonio.com/my ebook. Outsource Everything. Outsource Everything, How to Be a Minimalist CEO by Kareem Jackson. Introduction for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Presented by Kane Co America and the Chunkston Group.
To break free.
3, 2, 1. We are live. Hello, world. Success is for everyone, baby. You're live on the set with Kareem Jackson. Yes, let's go.
Let's talk about what diversity in the workplace looks like in a healthy organization.
Absolutely. So in a healthy organization, diversity really leads out with belonging. It means that everybody feels like they're included. It means that everybody's ideas are respected. It means that people have the opportunity to bring their authentic selves to work. When we have that kind of opportunity, when we have that kind of
support,
space,
right?
And that support, especially from the top down. When you know that your organization is concerned about diversity and inclusion, you know it because you feel it within the culture.
Yes, you
Don't do this. Ask any professional zoologist or animal trainer, and they will tell you, do not make animal sounds at an animal. Why? Because you don't know what you're saying to them. If you've ever barked at your dog or meowed at your cat and you noticed that they were treating you differently after that, they were avoiding you or were acting kind of cold toward you, it's probably because you accidentally said something racist.
So here's what you need to know if you're in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Diversity, equity, and inclusion still centers cisgendered, able-bodied white men. Don't believe me? Okay. So diversity, being diverse means you have to have a standard by which you measure that which is diverse. White is that standard. White male, cisgendered, and able-bodied is that standard. Equity means to give something up so that somebody else might have a resource or an opportunity or an advantage. Cisgendered, able-bodied white men need to give something up in order for marginalized people to have something. Inclusion means somebody has to accept you. So you being in the out group means that being accepted puts you in the in group, and who's on the in group? Cisgendered, able-bodied white men. So just know that if you're doing this work, then you have to also be considerate of whose comfort is centered. And so now we're not talking about a capability issue, we're talking about a willingness issue. Companies are capable of doing a lot. Not many are willing to do what's necessary to make the change required to improve the lived experiences of marginalized people, Black people specifically. The last thing I'll tell you, if you're in this work, just know you can't center Black. Even though Black by every metric is still the most marginalized in corporate spaces, centering Black is still a bridge too far. So you'll have to dilute your efforts to benefit everybody. In which case, if you create solutions for everybody, nobody benefits because it's too much dilution. Just keep that in mind if you want to get into this work. Go on with your eyes open and have a plan to maintain your mental health.
See? Hey, you guys, welcome back, you guys. I want you guys to get some of those because, one, you can see in a very silly way, you can be speaking the wrong language, you can offend your animals and your Black folks. And the fact of the definition, his definition, her definition in the beginning, a lot of different definitions of what diversity equity is. But first and foremost, you guys, thanks for being here. I'm Kareem Jackson. You're live on the set. Grab your cocktails if you're in the Philippines or in Asia or in Europe or in London, Africa in the afternoon right now. But if you're in America, grab a coffee or you can grab a cocktail if you want to, mimosa maybe. And let's have this DEI conversation right now, because let me say it once really quick though, for LinkedIn Live and all you folks for watching LinkedIn Live, I'm looking here. Let me say it once. We apologize in advance for any triggers, any things that we may say that may offend you, any things that you may misinterpret, any things that may be said very directly. I'm thinking directly to the DEI community, specifically the ones who work in it, and the owners, a suite of the companies that these guys are working with. So we're talking to those two people. If you're not one of them, you may be offended. So I'm apologize to you in advance for that, okay? And the reality checks, there may be a few reality checks here. So if you're working and you're not in the A suite, or you're not the executive DEI person, inclusion person, things like that, then you might not want to be here, because you're just gonna get mad. You're just gonna get frustrated, because we're talking about some crap that goes on that many of you guys are the reason that it happens. So I'm just saying that out loud. But we have some hot topics today. I'll bring up some hot topics maybe throughout the show to make it light. We've got some videos to play while you're here, and mainly directly now that all the snowflakes have left the room. Sensitivity folks, since they're all gone now, we can have a real conversation. If you're still here, I'm telling you, you may want to skip this. I'm giving you some more time. Sensitivity people, snowflake people, you may want to just clock on out. Clock on out. Skip this one. Skip it. Skip this one, because you're just going to have a bad day. Your whole day is going to be ruined. Wait for our next episode. It's more light. Actually, no, it's not. Passport Bros tomorrow, and then Fridays, we all niggas now. So it's going to be a hard week for everybody. But this is how we really feel. Okay, let's get into it. Now that all the snowflakes have left. Let's get into this really quick. You guys in the chat, you can chat with me. My guys can tell me what you're saying to me. We can put it up on the screen. You guys can chime into the show live. You guys can put that guest link into the chat so they can see it. We're unapologetically free right now. Okay, right now, especially since 2008, since Black Lives Matter, since COVID, Black folks, minorities, we are unapologetically free. And we're free to have a great eye-opening, live recorded discussion about diversity, equity, and inclusion, because that's y'all's work. First of all, we've been dealing with this stuff our whole lives. I saw my father, my mother deal with it. This is not new to us. This is new to you. This is a new industry to you. This is like tech for you, right? So when it comes down to it, specifically for our people, okay, in the revolution, people who are out here in the entrepreneur revolution, becoming their own boss, getting their bag, which is many Black people. If you ever notice why Black folks, when you fire them or when you treat them like crap, they cool, because they got a side hustle over here. So the entrepreneur revolution, I'm talking to you. The great resignation, I'm talking to you. The passport bros, the millennials, I'm talking to you. Oh, passport sisters, I'm talking to you as well. Even you guys, the whole, the whole quiet quitting renaissance, I'm talking to you guys too, because I feel you. I didn't quiet quit, open my own company, but I was quiet quitting, I guess, for about a month. Then I finally opened my own company, and that was in high school. So I've had my own business since I was in school. So bravo to y'all. Thank you for that. That's a good thing for you guys. And the whole situation with the whole women in the workplace and pushing, I'm talking to you guys too, because you're changing the game. You're the one pushing this in their face. And I understand the Black male and the Black woman perspective. Forget what you see online about us arguing. Yeah, we argue amongst ourselves, but if we're together, you can't mess with us. But all of us are welcomed and appreciated here. So in this episode, all of y'all are appreciated and welcomed here. You may not be appreciated in your workplaces and your businesses and your boardrooms with your subcontractors and your general contractors and your suppliers and the folks that you deal with, your HR departments. But here you are appreciated. So now that was all said to all of you, there's literally millions and millions and millions of really good, hardworking, every day you're there, happy, bells on, sacrificing your health, sacrificing your time, dedicating your life. You're underappreciated, maybe. You're maybe you're not even underpaid. Maybe that's not even the issue. A lot of times it is, but maybe that's not even the issue. The more important thing is you're undervalued. You're discriminated against in your office or in your business or in your workplace. And you're discriminated kind of against, and you realize the differences between people worldwide who are casualties. You know, and I'm saying worldwide because this is a worldwide issue, but let's focus a little bit more on America and the UK. Folks in the companies who are literally the casualties of the failed DEI efforts, this whole great resignation group. Not all of them are failures of that, but a lot of them are. These guys say that we want to call them, for example, freedom seekers. Let's just call them that, the freedom seekers out there. Because ultimately they've realized that this isn't going to work for me. I need some freedom. And those are the DEI people. That's their worst nightmare. These folks that have woke up to it and realized, I'm leaving. Fuck these numbers. Many of which are I might add to, many of which of these people I might add are kind of the real true, like when DEI fails, I mean, the big room, you're looking at numbers, but down on the ground, you've got these victims of failed DEI in corporate America and UK crap that are now without jobs, that are on welfare. The statistics you hear on the news about people that have got their homes evicted, the 40 million people. You know how it is in America. You have a home, then you're working somewhere corporate probably. You got a business probably. So those are corporate people that are up against that, because most small people, most hood people, they wasn't losing their house. We talk about the companies, all the time. The big, they laid off 50,000 people, 100,000 people. But we never really hear from the millions of professionals in the US and the UK who are kind of forced to walk out, to quit. We don't talk about what are they going through? They have to literally deal with months and months or maybe years or whatever of stuff. And then all of a sudden it's so bad, they're going to walk out and they're going to quit and they're going to feel defeated. They're going to feel beat down. They're going to feel underappreciated. They got to go home and tell their spouse, their partner, their landlords. Sometimes it was all toxic. So now they have mental health issues, or they're stressed out and they don't know why. Maybe they're single now. They broke up with their partner to have this job. And now they got fired or had to quit from the job. These anti-diverse jobs that you hear about. So you guys, anyway, just tuning in right here. We're talking about DEI and the whole real truths about this kind of stuff. I use kind of some videos, and I use some clips and some things on some hot topics on LinkedIn to kind of get my point across. Right now, this is one more video, you guys, I want you to see real quick. Play the next video, please, for these folks, because a video is worth 1,000 words. And better than I can tell you, some of these videos that I see around, that y'all need to see these videos. And these are your employees making these videos. So roll that clip, please, Mr. Mal. Grab some coffee, you guys.
This video is for everybody who is committed to diversity and inclusion. Let's talk about how to measure diversity and inclusion. Measuring diversity and inclusion is not linear. It is so complex, and actions speak louder than words. Therefore, an institution or a company's commitment to anti-racism and diversity and inclusion is not outlined in purely a policy. It is not outlined in a statement or an action plan. It is outlined in who they hire, who they support, the type of people that they progress, and why. Watch how an institution treats those who are doing the work. This goes further if seeing if there is a diverse leadership. This goes further than filling a quota, and it certainly goes further than tokenism. Evaluating diversity and inclusion takes critical consciousness. It takes empathy. It takes a multicultural perspective and analysis. We must continue to strive for inclusivity.
You guys, okay. You hear what these people are saying. I don't know if a lot of you people are out there, like I said, on TikTok, on social media, and you're looking at, these are young, professional, beautiful people. And we're trying to get a lot of folks in business. We're trying to help 1,000 people. You know our mission here. You get my book behind me, Entrepreneurship. You guys saw my book during the preview about outsource everything. But truth be told, is I want you to know, I want you to understand, we give you permission. you can surrender to your success. Because a lot of you, I'm sorry, y'all, it is really nice and hot up here in Asia. I don't know, I can feel it. Maybe the hot coffee. But we're giving you permission, you guys, to surrender into your success, because use free now. Brothers and sisters, Lincoln freed the slaves, and use free now, baby. Use free at last, free at last, free at last. You now have the value. These companies know the value that you bring. There is nothing to defend. Maybe you're defending on how to act or what the person feels like, but you're letting them okie dokie. Them sweet people don't give a damn about whatever they'll do whatever you say, because at the end of the day, they know that affects the market share. So all of you brothers and sisters with DEI efforts over the past few, hundreds of years, remember, this is not new for us. We've been doing this literally for hundreds of years. And Black folks are some of the best folks to actually have people working in DEI, because we've been dealing with the powers that be, like the brother said earlier. We're the best ones dealing with them. We were their slaves for 400 years. We was washing everything. We were doing everything. We know how it is. And we're telling you, you can stop begging now. Let's get into it, you guys. Number one, you guys, I want to say this really quick. And I don't know if we don't have a graphic for this. We're ready for this, but give you an example. Number one, hot topics here. Walt Disney, you guys, by the way, that has the Black Nutcracker now. So in case you didn't know, diversity, equity, and inclusion has hit Walt Disney, who's from Kansas, was very known for kind of a racist dude. But now, in case you were really mad about the whole mermaid, Walt Disney, down at the Walt Disney place, the Nutcracker is going to be a Black girl. Then there's a ride that they're changing up, getting rid of the white girl's ride, and then going ahead and getting the Black girl for the ride as well. So Little Mermaid is going to be a Black mermaid at the Walt Disney Park. Also, the Twitter, you guys, fires a whole bunch of DEI people. You guys heard about last night, the City National Bank has the largest lawsuit that they've ever seen for diversity, equity, and depriving Black folks of loans. So all of these companies, I'm just saying a lot of these things to say to you, because a lot of times y'all act like y'all victims. Some DEI person in Walt Disney didn't say, "Oh my God, you're treating Black folks terribly. Look at that clip. The character was rude to the Black girl." Remember that clip? You remember that clip where the character, where they were Walt Disney or wherever the hell they were, and the character was rude to the Black girl, and nice to the white kids? Okay, yeah, that's an HR issue. But the truth of it is, it's a worse issue because they paid a fortune to get the little Black girl in the park in the first damn place. And then because the DEI is not doing their damn jobs and recruiting properly, or you're holding them back from doing their jobs. Now, when you get the Black folks in, paying the money, who pays the employees who work for you, now those employees that lack DEI are ruining the whole damn thing. Do you get how it works? They got a big marketing company, probably white. You don't even know who they are. And they paid BET. They paid all these stations. They got an ad on Roland Martin. They finally get Black folks to come back to Disneyland. She's up there with Tinkerbell, or whoever the hell it was. Then they get in. Finally, this marketing's working. They hear it's Black History Month. They coming. But when they get in, your staff is fucked up. They treat them rude. That really happens. That really happens, people. Really happens. Because I'm telling you, you can stop begging, because diversity equals profits. I'm going through a few of these. Number 2, diversity equals profits. And if you don't understand that, and until your company doesn't understand that, then when you're a DEI person, you're wasting your breath sitting up here complaining that they're not doing this and they're giving you lip service. And I'm so sick of hearing about how the companies are giving you lip service. You're lucky you have a job. Remember, this is a new industry. When it comes down to it, show them the money. Because back when I was doing it 25 years ago, that's all they cared about, because they didn't care about Black folks. But now that they got you believing they care about Black folks and minority people of color, diversity, equity, and inclusion, now that they got you thinking about that, you need to start talking about market share, revenue share, increase. How the hell is any company in America and the UK going to grow if it does not grow diversity-wise? How? How? There's less whites. There's less whites with disposable income. So if Negroes don't buy Mercedes, how are they gonna make more money? If Negroes and Mexicans and gays don't buy from your insurance company, how will you make more money? Not to mention white folks. Remember, they're white folks. So if my daddy was a Republican and my granddaddy was a Republican, I'm a Republican. Okay, well, it's the same thing. If my daddy used State Farm and my granddaddy used State Farm, I'm using State Farm. So where are you going to grow your insurance company? Black people, minority people. So this conversation that they're having, the way that they're making you beg, change the narrative. Stop begging. Tell them what they're losing. Tell them what the competition is making because they're diverse. Tell them what Blacks and Mexicans and gays and all these people are spending, even if they're your own employees, what they're spending on beauty products, things like that. That's the conversation. That's the raw truth about DEI that they don't want you to know, because I'm in these rooms. They know that Black folks spend millions on beauty products. So they want you to help them get products for Black people. But they can't say that to you directly, right? So they tell you, we want diversity. Then when you get in, all of a sudden, you're doing product testing. You're doing hiring in HR for new people. You're doing different, you're picking models for the new ads and the new campaigns. That was the plan, boo-boo. They didn't care about no Juneteenth. They didn't care about how they felt, like, oh, Blacks need to feel a certain way. So now that you're having that conversation, they understand now. It's everywhere now. It's being stuffed down their face everywhere on TV, on politics. It's being stuffed down the A-list office suites, boardroom faces every single day. They can't even vacation anywhere in the world because Black folks, people of color, we every damn where. The conversation needs to move to money. It needs to move to what it began. What it means when you have a diverse company, what diverse companies are doing because they're diverse and there's harmony like that. Don't sell harmony. That's the journey. That's not the destination. Let's be real. The destination, Black folks are only working here for money and position. Otherwise, they'd be at home building their own business, their own family. So that's okay that the white dude, the board is here because they want to make more money. That's fine too. But let's not forget the conversation and get so wrapped up. One more video, you guys. I want to show you this because I think that at the end of the day, this is a perspective that a lot of you guys are missing. But I think that it's worth showing you because I'm saying one thing. Number 3, when we get back from this little break here with this little video here, this clip. Number 3, CRT in the office. Critical race theory in the office, you kind of need it. They're taking CRT out the schools, but that means going to be some dumbass employees working in the next generation. But anyway, play this clip, and this is going to help you break it down. Play this clip real quick for a moment.
So thank you, everybody, for joining this, our first ever diversity-themed town hall. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion are at the heart of everything we do here. And we just want to reinforce that with all of you all and get that on the record, basically, in all of your hearts, that is at the core of who we are. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. DEI. DEI. You may have not heard that. That's a new term. DEI is very, very important to me personally and to the business.
Okay, Now you know that that's exactly how it is at AT&T, at T-Mobile, corporate, whatever. Whether it could be corporate Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's just like that. You know how it is. And the reason is because the whole Mayflower people are still the people that own the companies and corporations in America. No matter what you think, the 500, whatever the hell it is, those the Mayflower people. They still own and run everything. You only gonna get as diverse as they'll let you to be. All of them at one point were pretty much racist. Okay, now they're diversified. Let's not forget, like Zuckerberg at Facebook, he's a Jew. Back in the day, he wasn't in the room either. So let's not forget all that. He's part of diversity. Remember his old issue in his movie? Remember that? When it comes down, the whole issue was that when it came down to it, the whole issue was that they were trying to get into the club and he wasn't allowed to be in the club. And they never said the word Jew. They never said the word middle class, upper middle class, not Ivy League. But come on now, we black. We know what the hell that movie was talking about. We know what it was. And so my point about that whole thing is that you guys, when it comes down to it, a lot of these folks, they just don't know what they're dealing with. They really are trying to do DEI. What was she doing? What was she doing? DE, diversity, equity. Yes, DEI. Remember now, that's their word, y'all. That's not our word. Because to me, I'm tell you a little secret, you guys in the A suite. If you got to hire a diverse equity person, then your company's not diversity and equity or inclusive. You know what I'm saying? You kind of know when you are. There's kind of a vibe. And companies like Nike, companies like the NBA, even if they're not really at the top, they've made a really, really, really big efforts to look like they're diverse. Okay, that's what they've done. To look like, when you look at the brand, you thinking, wow, they are diverse. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you guys, one thing I want to break down for you real quick, and I know this is going to be a trigger warning for you guys if you're watching this. Number 3, you guys here for me is CRT and The Office. You need to have it. Okay, I believe that the whole situation that you saw in the very beginning, when they're pulling all the CRT and the DEI and all that stuff like that out of the schools, DeSantis I'm talking about. You hear about the whole CRT situation in the schools, and a lot of folks are behind it. And I'm a black guy, I'll tell you right now, I go take it out the schools. Take it all out. I'll tell you why. It's world history. You can change it if you want in the schools where you're educating your American children. Then what's going to happen is there's going to be a boom in extracurricular schools, extracurricular universities, consultancies, academies that are going to teach the real history. The same as if you were not American and you were not black and you were not African and you were from Laos. So if you want to learn Laotian history, where the hell are you going to find it? You're going to go to somewhere boutique-ish. You're going to pay money. You're going to learn about Laos. So pretty soon what's going to happen is CRT, or Black American Black History, is going to be something that you're paying thousands for. Something that people don't even know about. So eventually when you have these DEI consultants of the future, you're going to have a whole generation of dumbass kids in schools that don't even know about CRT, Black history, nothing. And you think that makes them what? Yes, they feel good inside. That's why I'm saying about the whole fake DEI thing. Forget the feelings. They're still going to be ignorant. So when they travel the world, when they do international business, when they deal with other people of other cultures, they're going to look like idiots. You're going to go from being a white race knowing orchestra and plays and ballet and Paris and France and Kentucky to all of a sudden, all you know is Chicago, Alabama, New York, Kansas City. That's all you're going to know. So these kids that have money all of a sudden, right? And these are, remember, black kids are going to know. Mexican kids are going to know. This is another one of those racist things that are going to bite you in the butt. They're going to know. You're the one that your kids are not going to know. So when they are in certain situations or opportunities come up, they're not even going to know who Martin Luther King was. They're not going to know anything about slavery, good and bad. There's good and bad to slavery. I get you. I know it's a terrible situation, but when you know the truth, whatever side of it you're on, you could at least learn that not to do that shit again. But if you're never educated about it, you don't know anything about it. And then nowadays, and working in America, being in corporate America, you're still just a slave, just different words. If you're in DEI and HR, you know what I'm talking about. This is the plantation, the building. There's the slave masters, the slave master, the plantation owner, board of directors, your bosses, and you're one of the masses. Your function is to make sure that the slaves have water, that they have food on time. That's your job. So all I'm saying right now is that CRT is going to be something that companies are going to have to teach themselves. Mark my word. CRT is going to be something that companies have to teach themselves. And the reason that is going to be is because they're going to want to make sure that their employees, their team, their executives know critical race theory, because they don't want to make corporate mistakes. The government can do whatever the hell they want to. The school can do whatever the hell they want to. But when it comes down to it, if you're selling Gap jeans in a black neighborhood, you better know some damn history. If you're selling services to businesses in India and you're white, you better know some damn history of India or the Philippines. You may even want to know some Filipino language and some Hindu or whatever the hell place your office is in. So what's going to happen is these companies are going to start having to have CRT and diverse equity inclusion, for example. To me, if it's the case, DEI should be in school. But now companies are picking up the bill for it because they've been so discriminatory over the years. So now they're paying the bill for all the previous mistakes of the government with the whole diversity, equity, inclusion, hence redlining, the opposite of diversity, equity, inclusion, the redlining, the Jim Crow, the discrimination, right? We need to go back to the whole central bank situation. The government has okey-doked you. And now the corporations, which are just families and people, the same ones from Mayflower most of the time, those people are the ones who are actually footing the bill for the mistakes of the previous generations of government. Now the government's saying CRT. So now if you want to know what these DRT people are telling you, you're going to need someone that has a PhD in this shit, because no one's going to know who goes to public school. They're not even going to know how to communicate. They're not going to know Chinese New Year. They're not going to know why blacks are free, why blacks are the way they are. You're not going to know why blacks, for example, are more athletic. You're not going to know why. You're just going to think that black folks just that way. You're not going to know why women are really into their bodies right now. You never know why they're fighting for their freedoms and their right, because you're not going to know anything about women's liberation. You're not going to know about anything about women not having credit cards. You're not going to know why. Why don't I want to get married? It's just, I don't really think about getting married. Why is that, I wonder? You're not going to even know why that is, because there's not going to be any CRT or DEI in schools. Corporations are going to want to tell you, so you're not going to know why. And you realize, oh, I don't want to get married because I don't have to get married anymore. I can have full rights. I can have full benefits. A woman, you can work. You don't need a man for a credit card or for a home or for a business or to be rich. But you won't know that. You'll just think that this is the way life is. So when it comes down to it, you guys understand this, is that diversity, equity, and inclusion is going to be a huge industry, but it's not going to grow if you guys not wake up to the fact that you need to stop having a conversation from the begging perspective and start talking about money, competition, market share. They're losing. The other thing, we get this conversation a lot here, and affirmative action. The perspective is, and I want to break this up for the snowflakes that may be still here. And if you're not here and you're not a snowflake and you're watching this, I'm going to tell you so that you can tell them. I'm going to help you give it a good way to articulate it. Affirmative action, of course, is fed to the public to help Black folks. We're so desolate. We were just so terrible Mind you, in many people's perspective, we were probably wealthier in the 50s and 60s, maybe even the 70s than we were today. Of course, in the 80s, the crack in the 90s wiped us out, and now we're just bouncing back actually in my generation. Affirmative action was a way for companies to save their butts to get lower employees, market share, tax breaks, and get rid of y'all old white men. Affirmative action didn't just help Black people, it helped women, it helped Latinos, it helped everybody. Helped a lot of Black folks too. I can't speak from everyone's perspective, and in a lot of ways, maybe other countries or minorities, but when it comes to Blacks and women, usually a Black and a woman who got into the company where you work at next to you. I know LinkedIn had issues here with some leaked Zoom meetings back in the day before Microsoft bought you guys out, by the way. This is way back in the day. The same thing with like Sprint, who's now T-Mobile, AT&T, GlaxoSmithKline, all of the Kauffman Foundation, right? All of these companies understand that even if you're working at McDonald's, doesn't matter where you are, for a Black person or a woman to get the job next to you, they have to be better than you, not more experienced than you, because they were never allowed to have the job, remember? So they don't have experience, but they're probably overqualified. Yeah. And if you're in any situation with DEI, understand this. If you have a DEI person who's an executive, especially if it's a Black female, she's over fucking qualified for the position she has. If it's a Black dude, especially if it's a gay dude, he's over qualified. He can go start a restaurant, a burger stand. She can go open her own salon or do anything. Remember, the whole world's changed now, boo-boo. Give the same hours, the same effort, the same stress, sacrifice their mental health, deal with your rejections and all the things they're going through. But she's here. And a lot of you guys that are working next to minorities, one thing that we notice a lot in the DEI sector, and I can say this because I don't work for a corporation like many of you do. I'm a freelance consultant with DEI, and we come from the whole marketing development side, so we don't go from the HR side. So I can speak very freely when I say, you're only having the job because you're usually a white dude. If it came down to what you actually do, what they bring to the table, the situations that they have, they're overqualified. You have the experience. I will give you that. But that's by default because they're the first Black, the first gay, the first woman to ever be in this position. Whether it's a manager at McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Krispy Kreme, all the way up to the vice president of AT&T or T-Mobile. They're typically the first or the second. And they're dealing with all this DEI crap. That brings me to that's when you guys have one more video. Check this video out here, you guys. I want you guys to look at this and understand. This is going to break it down a little bit more because I want to run this home. Because affirmative action, a lot of people, white people in companies, men, believe that affirmative action gave Blacks a break. It didn't give them a break when it came to credibility. It gave them a break when it came to getting in the door for the interview. But in order to get to the door for the interview, they have to be overqualified. You're missing something. And I guess maybe when you work with them, what you're seeing, they don't have the experience, but the qualifications, oh, hell yeah. And then don't forget, they bring a market share your company needs. You are dying. They need new blood, new revenue, new generations, new market share. So you need to understand, when you get mad and when you quit, they still got to deal with these Negroes, these Latinos, these women, these millennials. So the company's perspective is a little bit different. So if you're thinking that affirmative action was a gift to Black people, no. It was a gift to your company. Because it came first in my company. What we deal with is marketing, advertising, development. It came first as customers. So all of a sudden, you know, these companies have millions or hundreds of thousands or many black minority, but black customers, whether you're a suit store, whether you're Black Friday, whether you're a government agency, whether you're an airline, but no black employees. So you got their money for all these decades. Now they're demanding to be inside, hence the new DEI, HR, HR management type philosophy. But the proof was in the pudding. The proof was in the guys like me 25 years ago, where our companies are the ones that proved to them that black folks would buy Cadillac, black folks would buy Coke, would buy McDonald's. There was a time when they had no black ads. We just went there. Maybe it was one day a week when they allowed niggas to go. All of a sudden they realized they made more money on nigga day than they made on the regular days. They realized too, play the video in just 1 second. They realized one other thing. Back in the day, black folks complained because they would have white folks that buy real estate. You know, this is a big deal in America too, where they buy the real estate. And then if there was a black person that used the bathroom or whatever like that, remember that? They would have their white owner's house go down in value. That's kind of how they screwed them over. That was the government. Now, all of a sudden, they're having black folks having to take off and de-black their house, right? Take all the pictures down, have a white friend go in there and say it's their house at the showings to get the better appraisal, not the sale, the appraisal. So what happened is, because of the situation and the affirmative action, all these companies, real estate companies, they're appraised lower and all this, but the value was really high. They knew what they were doing. They saved the company money. They made money off your situation. Now they're having to play. So check out this video, you guys, because this is going to bring home what I'm talking about in a way that a video is worth 1,000 words, right? So check this out, because I love these little viral sensational videos, y'all.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion work is not wellness work, and I think sometimes these two industries get conflated. It's important to name this because sometimes I think we put an unfair burden on DEI practitioners to make organizational leaders and just organizations overall feel good. But this emphasis on making everyone feel good often obscures and ignores the real organizational issues that are taking place. And when there's this emphasis on feeling good, we have to ask, whose feelings are we prioritizing? Generally, DEI practitioners and consultants are hired when something is going wrong within an organization. So we can make the assumption that historically oppressed communities are already not feeling good in that environment. Ultimately, the job of DEI consultants is to use data to tell the truth. And that truth might be that people are really suffering in that environment. And we have to name that, and we have to sit in the discomfort of that, because that's how change happens. Of course, the hope is through doing culture and power assessments, through creating strategy, you then create a more cohesive and inclusive culture, which allows people to have a more joyful work experience. But we can't have an emphasis on feeling good before we name what is wrong.
Let me tell you the hardest thing about being a diversity, equity, and inclusion specialist. There's a lot that's hard about it. But the hardest part is that people don't understand white supremacy. And white supremacy is designed for white males to control everything. White males. And people don't get that. So white women will fuck you over until they realize, oh my God, I don't have rights. I can't get an abortion. I can't do something. Y'all come support me. Latinos, oh wait, they're building the wall. Wait, they're not voting for me.
Mm-hmm. Listen, y'all.
Wait, they won't live in your country.
Mm-hmm.
Really, LGBTQ, especially white LGBTQ men, everybody thinks they in. Everybody's trying to be the number one minority. Everybody will fuck everybody else up as long as they can be number two. And they don't get that ultimately white supremacy is going to suppress and depress them as well. And so none of us can progress because everybody's fighting to be number two. And so the depressing part is you got all these people who think, oh my gosh, wait, I may be making it. I may be making it. So I'm a dog you. I'm a dog you. I'm a dog you. And you're really dealing with all these people who are not really, truly trying to overcome. They're really just trying to be number two. And they are willing to fuck over everybody else. They're willing to do the dirty work of white supremacy to be number two. And that's what sucks about it. That's what sucks. And I honestly think that the only race of people, the only group of people who gets it are Black women. Black women get it. The rest of y'all sitting up there scrambling like hell to be number two, and you will fuck everybody else over to be number two. And that's why y'all can't get nowhere, because white supremacy does not want you either. And no matter how many times the country shows you with laws and everything, y'all still can't believe it. You still think you're special. And you're not.
Did you hear, y'all? Did you hear her let you have it there real quick? She let you have it. I'm telling you this because all of these schools are doing DEI, the CRT. You see Ron DeSantis, you see these white guys, you see what she's talking about. They're not thinking 100 years out. They're thinking my kids today are embarrassed to be white. Embarrassment's not forever. And embarrassment, you can be embarrassed and then you can finally realize what you did wrong and then the next generation can fix it. Well, at least you'll be more aware, right? So my point about this is the next one here, you guys, number 5 is after the affirmative action we talked about. Number 6, you guys, is, we touched on it a little bit, but it's kind of the under versus overqualified. When it comes down to it, usually these DEI folks that are inside the companies that are working, they're overqualified for the position. And they know also there may be some people that got an opportunity as minorities to come in and then be taught something. But what you're seeing is not qualifications. What you're seeing is experience. And that's the fault of companies. They didn't give these people experience. But if they were to give their energies to their own business, their own situation, they would probably do very well, which is why you see the Great Resignation, the Entrepreneur Revolution. Because now these companies are dealing with people that are getting woke, not just woke to company, but woke to working class, owner class, partner class, startups. So at the end of the day, I want you to break into this one, the number 7 here, you guys. You were asking me here, who is DEI for? Let me answer that to you real quick, you guys. DEI is for the company. It's not for us. DEI, I'm telling you, if you're a DEI consultant, hear me out. Let me tell you, I'm a salesman. That's what I do. I sell corporate. I've been doing it for 25 years. Your perspective is not selling them on how DEI is for us. We need this. We need to be let in. We need to get the opportunity. We need access. We need loans. We need... No, we don't. They need us. They need Black folks buying their products, their food, using their situations. They need Black folks supporting, picking up their products. We literally are making Gucci. We're making Louis. We're making Gucci. What's the other one? Mercedes. We're making these companies. We made Tommy Hilfiger. We made Fubu. We made all these situations. I'm not saying that you change what you do, what you say. I'm just saying change the paradigm to where all of a sudden you realize who DEI is for is you. If I can improve the DEI of your company and your employees feel better and they are more educated and they're more connected and more diverse, that includes, but is not limited to, your sales department, your marketing department, your outreach department, your front of line workers, your cashiers, your face-to-face people, your customers, because remember, diversity companies have diverse customers, diverse market shares. So all of a sudden, maybe you didn't grow any at all this year. The same white folks bought your products as last year. But you have a whole new revenue stream here. And what happens is it's the okie doke that they tell you guys that they don't mention that in our rooms we have to know the difference, but in your rooms they kind of blend it together. They usually say, okay, we have 1,000 employees, for example, and then 10% of them are black, or 20% of them are black, and we're doing great. Diversity is wonderful, right? We're winning. That's not what the balance sheet looks like. What the balance sheet looks like is there was 800 employees, there was 700 employees, there was 900 employees. Now they grew and they got 30% customers now that are black, minority, diverse. Now they go out and they hire another 100, 200 Negroes or minorities, right? So now they have 1,000 employees. That gets them another tax break. That gets them bragging rights. But the truth of it is, they didn't grow. They grew. You added 10, 20, 30% to that company's bottom line. That's what you did. DEI coach, DEI consultant. And sometimes in some companies, especially if you're corporate, that's $1 billion. If you're McDonald's and you have 100 stores and all of a sudden black folks get 30 stores, you didn't have black folks last year and the year before and the year before. This is not just more sales. This was not in your plan. This is a new revenue stream. This is a new market share. Don't dilute it in company growth. Don't dilute it. Don't let them do that to you. You're bringing something that they did not have. You didn't enhance what they had. So who is DEI for? It's for them, for the company. So I have another question here, you guys. I'm seeing these guys. How to fire your DEI executive. Okay, wow. First of all, if you got to fire your DEI executive, hopefully you're going to fire them because they're not doing a great job, not because your DEI just sucks horribly. If it does suck horribly, apologize, say that you tried, and just tell them that they're fired. They will understand. Believe me, they're not happy there either, I'm sure. On the other note, a lot of times some DEI folks, we've got some clients that we're going to have Joanne Penny on the show here this week or next week, talking about her new book, which is phenomenal. And she's a phenomenal DEI coach, a great consultant, comes from the perspective that I love, that I'm talking about. But sometimes even these people, they don't like working with you either. So I think the first step is to say, are we happy together? Can we do this together? The other thing, and I'm going to mention Joanne because I think she's a great person to talk about. She understands the bottom line. She understands that there's an ROI in mind here. She understands that DEI should not be an expense of the company. It should be an investment of the company. You're going to invest in this person's salary. You're going to invest in the DEI efforts and the things that are happening, which include marketing and advertising and coaching for your employees and your frontline people. You saw what happened at Disney. Remind you about Disneyland. They bring all these black rides, and when the black kids come, their staff are assholes to the black kids. So what happens is, if they're not understanding that there needs to be an ROI, then you need to fire them on the basis of they're not showing the equity. They're not showing the value. You might want to say, I'm not seeing the rewards that I want in the community. You know, where you want to be, not, you don't just want to say, here's 5% diversity growth. You want to have articles in the newspaper about your company, telling them about what you're doing. You want to be featured in magazines for your DEI. You want to be on the news because your company is known for breaking down the walls, like the KC Star in Kansas City, who had me featured in their show about their diversity of their newspapers. And we did a whole episode and a whole piece together. It's down here. I'll show it to you later. But my point is, come from that perspective. Because what happens is that you need to maybe identify your goals, because maybe they weren't identified with this person. Because DEI is an investment. You don't just fire a house, fire an apartment building, fire a corporation or a company you invest in. So if you want to walk away from the investment, right, then the perspective should be that there's no more return. Because if it's going to return, then you can not even see this person for 10 years and it'll keep growing. Just let them alone. Stop fucking with them. Let them do their job. But if it's a situation where you're not getting the return that you want, maybe you need to define what that return is. Because again, the DEI, including the executive, should be an investment, not an expense. That's why employees and executives on B level, that's why they get jealous in C level and all that. They see you making 100,000, they're making 25, 45. And they're like, what do you do? What do you bring to the bottom line? Because they're still hearing in the side how terrible sales are, how they can't be a Christmas party, how there's no money for calling cards, how they're getting one vacation day a month now, not 3. And if you're the DEI person, you're not showing the equity to the company and what it means and explain in corporate wide how the company is growing market share and Latinos love us. And if you're not that rah-rah person about the company, not about the HR, then you're going to have this issue where the guys are going to want to fire you and not know how to do it. So again, I would just say the conversation, we talk about what the goals are going to be and how they're not being met. Oh my God. Okay. USA versus the UK Black corporation life. You guys, I'm going to tell you this. I see a lot of similarities in the UK and the US. In the UK, they're from the UK. So they're very much nicer, even though they don't look as nice, maybe as some of our corporate people do, but they're much nicer. And they're probably the ones I see a lot where I'm saying, stop begging these people. And for the UK folks, I believe when it comes to the whole DEI, Black Lives Matter, righteous thing, we're ahead of you on that one. We're not ahead of the UK when it comes to freedom and racism and slavery and all that crap. They were free long before us. We Americans were going to Europe to sing and to build their careers and their lives for generations before we were even free, completely free in America. But I will say that we're ahead in the whole. We know this one. We know how to get paid. We know how to prove a point. We're on reparations now. Even though you've been free longer, you ain't got your reparations, right? So I think that when it comes to this situation, the reason that I'll really double down on the stop begging situation now, because these conversations, I see a lot of folks on LinkedIn Live having this conversation. You need to tell them what they're missing. Why is Jaguar kicking the ass of Peugeot? It ain't just because of sales. It's because Black folks like Jaguar. Everybody likes Jaguar. Why is it that some brands, some cities, some areas, it's because of that. Now, they may not want Black folks. They may be a company that said, hey, we tried minorities. We really weren't suited for that. We want to stick with white folks. We're good at that. We'll just raise our prices. They could possibly do that because now they're going to be exclusive. You know how country clubs are, no niggas allowed, right? But when it comes to the whole U.S. versus the Black situation, I think that corporate life in both, America's kind of corporate central. We're the corporate, which is not a good thing. We're corporate. British, you don't hear about the crime and the discrimination and the things that the staff who works at the corporations are dealing with outside of the office. In America, a lot of people who go to work every day, work is their sanctuary. That's why they're so frustrated when there's fucked up bullshit with DEI and diversity and racism in the office. Because this is my away from home. This is my away from on the bus, on the train, in the police, driving my car. This is supposed to be where I can get in that parking lot and I'm safe. And a lot of times these DEI situations don't have that. I feel like in the UK, from people that I know, partners that I have, and associates that I have in the UK, I believe that when it comes to there is that whites are a little more disconnected. You hear a lot of unbiasedness, right? Unconscious bias in the UK more than you do in the States. I know British people, white people, who can see things in the news that happen in America and they can burst out in empathetic tears because of what they see us go through. So whites there are a little more, but then you did see Meghan, you did see Prince Harry, you saw him, it's fine till you bring a Negro home. So I think the situation with them when it comes to the corporate and the DEI versus the corporations or whatever, it's the same though. Just watch America and get you. It's a crystal ball. What's going to come your way, UK? Because in the UK, they need to stop begging too, because eventually you guys are kind of behind in the whole census thing with this whole Megan situation and a few other things that have happened. And, you know, remember the cover of, what is it, Vogue or someone where they had the black designer did the cover or whatever, and they didn't really like it that much. Remember that? Right now, you guys are going through it. The difference in the UK is that you're not really black British. You're Nigerian or Jamaican or whatever it is. You have that pride, whereas we're black Americans. So when we sit in the boardroom, I'm not saying my family's from Zimbabwe. My heritage, I'm not even, that ain't even my look. I'm in the same damn suit or better than yours. I'm talking English better than you. So we're running circles around their ass. And I see that's where black British are going to go. That's where they're eventually going to say, you know what, no, we're British. Don't pull up my grandma and my grandpa. We're British, and we deserve to be here. That's what's going to start happening, because that's what we had to go through. And we went through the whole take your black ass back to Africa. We went through that, and we didn't go. Some of us did. And so we got family, we got connections. Now we got trips to Ghana. The next Girls Trip movie is going to be in Ghana, right? But at the end of the day, the British, that's coming for you guys too, because they're going to all of a sudden start realizing, if we can get black folks to buy into this or that or the other, it'll save our company. It'll save our organization. So I think that's kind of what's going to roll your way. And then, you know, in that tone with the whole UK type confusion thing, play this next video, Mal, for these folks. And you guys, we're not going to stay here that long. We're almost done. I'm just going to finish this thing up. But play this video, because this one kind of brings home what they're asking here. This next one I have in line. Play that video, Mal, for them real quick. Let's grab a little coffee, y'all. And then grab a commercial. Let's pay a bill real quick and then come right back. Grab a snack, y'all. Come on back. We'll be right here. And the next one's the Entrepreneur Revolution. We're talking about how these folks are going to business.
Tell me about a time when you being exactly who you are made your company money. I'll go first. I used to work in audit. And for those of you that don't know, audit is when a company says they made money doing X, Y, Z. We check that they really did. We were auditing this big recruitment firm, and I was going through their revenue, trying to see, like, does everything make sense? I was actually just kind of scanning it, and something jumped out to me. They had placed someone called Joseph Adenuga. Now, I'm from the UK. I grew up listening to grime, and I know, like every grime head knows, that Joseph Adenuga is Skepta's real name. People know Skepta now from Drake's album, but back then, the only people that knew Skepta were grime heads, and I was a grime head. So I keep scanning this list, and I find Richard Cowie, Wiley. I see Jamie Adenuga, Skepta's brother, JME, and I just keep seeing more and more grime head names that only I would know, that those are MCs. Those are not people that are working office jobs. So I flagged it, and my company opened a fraud investigation into the client, which they charged a lot for. This was 10 years ago, so I was the only one on the team that knew about Skepta and grime in those days. So this is a perfect example of diversity, not just being good, but actually making a company money. If you believe that diversity is for everyone's benefit, hit up our website, write a review of how your company performs with diversity, insidevoices.io.
Having a good time, people? You're live on the set with Kareem Jackson. Go grab a snack and come on back.
Hey, you guys, Kareem Jackson, you were live on the set. I've got some news to tell you. 10 years ago, I left California, USA on the beach, and I got on a plane. I went to the tropics, and I reinvented myself. I wanted to turn my dreams into reality. I had a great time, great friends. I published magazines, books. I meditated. I sipped coconuts, you guys. I had tattoo competition, weekly shows, and I want you guys to know I sat down, and I wanted to write step by step how I did it. How did I get free? How did I outsource everything? How did I get to where I could run my company from my laptop? And now I finished it. It is done. My new book, you guys, Outsource Everything, is out now. I finished it. I'm telling you all about how I gained my freedom, how I live in the tropics next to the beach in a beautiful lifestyle, and I still run my business. I outsource everything. My new ebook, it's out now, you guys. It's available right now, you guys. I made it to where freedom is here for you. You can get the same freedom that I did. It's totally possible and it's totally doable. And this has never been a better time than to do it. Grab my new ebook, Outsource Everything, on Google Play and the App Store, you guys. And of course, creamantonio.com/my ebook. Outsource Everything. Outsource Everything, How to Be a Minimalist CEO by Kareem Jackson. Introduction for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Presented by K&Co America and the Chunkston Group.
To break free.
What's up, you guys? Kareem Jackson live on the set for Budokan Lifestyle Magazine, and we are live here, you guys. Budokan, the quarantine is like semi-lifted, right? So you in your car, you cruising, and you need you an oil change. You've got to get your car right, you guys. We have one of the 500 best of Budokan, best favorite things. Rapidly, you guys. MacArthur Highway, they have such great service, you guys. They're one of our 500 favorite of Budokan, 100 best of Budokan. They're one of our favorite places to go, and check it out, you guys. We were here. It is so nice, so fresh, so clean. Rapidly Express, you guys. They're located on MacArthur Highway, you guys. Get your car oil change done. And guess what, you guys? It's only 899 pesos. So no worry, less than 1,000 pesos. Look at these reviews, you guys. Don't believe us. Maui said it. Ned said it. Ken said it. Daniel said it. Carr said it, Carol said it, Ponce said it. Everyone says that this place is so awesome. 0945-369-0888. You guys, 899 pesos. Rapidly, you guys. Go check them out. But hey, COVID-19, we got you covered, you guys. You're in that car. How do you know it's clean? How do you know it's disinfected? How do you know that your kids are safe? Your employees are safe? Roll down to this place for 249 pesos, you guys. Rapidly will disinfect your car. 0945-369-0888,
What
you guys.
waiting for?
Hey, local small business owners, entrepreneurs, and celebrities. Hey, you guys, I've got a secret to tell you.
Go get that promo.
Check this out. K&Co has a new website promo for $350. That's just 15,000 pesos, and your small business can have a fantastic website. You know how the guys are beating you out there, how they're getting customers, how they're online. Despite anything, they can keep going. They can still reach customers. People can still buy, see their stuff.
Here, you guys, I've got the secret.
They can still do it because they're reaching their clients online with their fantastic website. The promo, you guys, is just 15,000 pesos, $350. You can showcase your products and reach the world.
Go get that promo. Say what?
Go get that promo.
3, 2, 1. We are live. Hello, world. Success is for everyone, baby. You're live on the set with Kareem Jackson. Yes, let's go.
Hey, welcome back, you guys. I got my coffee refilled, my cocktail refilled. Thank you. You saw the British guy, right? You saw the brother. You heard what he was saying. He was kind of breaking it down, and you see how sweet and how calm and how cool they are, how they be explaining. They don't cuss nobody out. They don't go off on you. They don't pull rank. They don't have the. So, but I'm telling you, in the future, that's going to be a situation they're going to have. They're going to be a lot more like us. Watch. Because I'll tell you this, perhaps over 100 years ago, it was so widely documented. Who knows, right? It was kind of a nuance. It was new. You know, everybody didn't know about it. People didn't know what it was. Racism, discrimination, what? Being diverse. First Black players in America. First, British Black poets and British Black fashion designers and things like that. It was a nuance, right? It was, it was a renaissance. It was trailblazing, and it was scary for many white male people. It was also scary for many of their competition who wanted to hold on to the old ways, and they saw the diversity happen over here, and they kind of let it go, right? Then in the 1950s or maybe the 60s, and then maybe throughout up into the 70s, It was marketed to the general public. They started pushing it out to the public, pushing it out to the public. It was righteous. It was needed. You know, we got to be this way. This is the right thing to do. What are you talking about? You know, these people are disenfranchised. These people are discriminated against, right? We got to help these people. We got to lift them up. We can't be this way, right? The white allies talking. But that was the 60s and 70s, bro. That's not now. That's not the way it is now. You know, nowadays, you guys, the truth is that since the 1950s, actually, for white folks, we were the first players. And they didn't get paid nothing really either. They got like $5,000, $10,000 a year. So it wasn't even about money, right? So from that point, the 1950s, when those first 3 black Negro players were allowed to play in the NBA, they grew an entire industry. You hear black Americans, if you're in the UK or wherever, talking about reparations or whatever, you kind of owed them. You paid them $5,000 or $10,000 a year. It was a part-time job. And they literally helped you reinvent your industry. You allowed them into the NBA. They were picketed. They were harassed. They were scared for their parents, right? But the industry has grown infinitely, continues to grow. And yes, now players make a lot of money. So that lets you know how much money you weren't paying the players back in the day, right? How much you took advantage of them. My point about that whole situation is now we can stop begging because now they know. Now everybody knows. And as I know, that this sounds maybe harsh, especially if you're in corporate, if you're looking at this on LinkedIn Live, I understand it's kind of harsh. I know maybe it's kind of clickbaity sounding, but the truth be told, when we go into to pitch, for example, as a company, I'm retired from my company now, but when we would go in to pitch, or when they go in now and pitch with the new CEO at the company on DEI situations, we call them situations. Because usually we're called when there's a situation. We're not called when we're not premeditated. We find it much more effective for our company. This advice to all you DE folks out there, especially in Europe and the UK. Company-wide, from top to bottom, okay, that means from above the A to the owners, the chairman, the board, and the board members, all those people up there, all the way down to the bottom person and the customers is buying the donuts or the whatever they're actually buying, all the way to them, subcontractors included. That the opportunity is profits. That's the conversation. Diversity equals profits. When you're in that boardroom, the reason they want is because to them, they already got all the white folks. They've been doing really good with white men for the last 100 years, 200 years. What's the problem? Oh my God, what's going on? We got to cut bills. We got to lay people off. No, you don't. You need to diversify your portfolio and start bringing in minorities, black folks. I got one video. Can you play Rihanna, you guys, real quick? I want you to see this video. If you've got Rihanna's video clip, because it's not her, it's someone talking about her. But the perspective they bring her up in, because this is not a non-black person talking about her in a corporate setting at a seminar. But I want you to hear behind the closed doors when these executives are getting these meetings. This woman speaking is not a black woman. But let me tell you how they talk about black people. Play the Rihanna clip, please. Wait, you guys, wait.
Yeah, Rihanna. But when Rihanna launched Fenty Beauty, she changed the entire beauty industry. She created an inclusive makeup brand for every tan, shade, and color represented in the world. Rihanna made every other beauty company aware of the importance of diversity and inclusion, not only in their products, but in their marketing. I'm a huge fan. Her tagline was beauty for all. She really wanted all women everywhere to be included. She created more body positivity as well for women and has essentially changed the beauty industry as we know it. Good job, Rihanna.
Did you see that? Did you see that, people? She was kind of a blackish girl. Maybe she was a little black. But my point is, she wasn't talking to black people. And if you hear the whole story of Rihanna, and I deal with it myself for my career, I don't wear makeup, but I wear a little makeup in camera. I need a little powder. I need this sometimes. I hate my eye bag sometimes for photo shoots and things. You got to search, travel, know somebody. She changed the game. And if you hear the whole speech, they're mainly talking about how she couldn't find it, so she created it as an entrepreneur, which goes into the entrepreneur revolution. So if you look at it from the other side, if you were an established company like Avon, Mary Kay, I'm going back, Mac, how dumb would you feel? She came in and created an industry. She totally took them by storm. However, every dollar she makes at Fendi, they lose. Not to mention, she created more customers. So she expanded the industry. There's people that weren't wearing this makeup or that makeup, but now they're wearing it. Or they weren't wearing it every day. They were wearing it for special occasions, and she changed that. So my point about trying to bring that in is to show that's how they're talking at these meetings. She changed an industry. So if you're working for a cosmetic company and they're not catering to this market and they're wondering why their company's not doing good, it's because it's not about equality and emotion and all this. It's not even about fairness or even righteousness anymore. No one cares about this no more. Yeah, traditional. It's like a white boy in his cowboy hat to us. Because that went out kind of in the 70s. We're a little more sophisticated now. We's free now. So when the DEI conversation comes up now, the raw conversation is these black folks are going to create their own company. They're going to kill. She makes more money than Avon and all of them combined. I'm just saying, globally, nobody knows Mac. So now the world is our marketplace. Black folks, I'm talking to minorities, people of color, women. The world is our marketplace. We're on this computer. We're here right now. I don't know if you're anywhere in the world looking right now. If you're not diversifying, you're dying. So imagine the people that Rihanna could have had any company do her makeup with her. She could have partnered with Avon. Missy Elliott was the cover of Mac, along with Queen Latifah. She came in and even took some of their market share. She got white folks and Latinas losing and Asians losing her makeup. So let's not having DEI meetings and plans to start. Let's start having business planning meetings. Let's abolish the DEI meeting and have business planning, corporate group meetings. Because ultimately, as diverse people, you don't need to talk about diversity. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is about money. This is about corporate survival for you. I'm talking to the A suite now. It's not about emotions anymore. It's not about making blacks happy and giving us joy and kumbaya and all that kind of stuff. Those days are over. Completely over. The paradigm that we need in DEI, let me break this down. The paradigm that we, meaning all of us, we need in DEI is to be happy and seen in the corporate American and UK spaces is wrong. We don't need to be seen. We don't need to be happy. That's not really our thing. We're happy with it without you, boo-boo. And that outlook is kind of outdated. A lot of the white folks working here aren't happy. So if I'm happy, which most black folks, when we come, we happy. Everybody else is frustrated because the black dude, the black girl, she's all bubbly and stuff. She best friend with the one bubbly girl. When you bring in DEI, that's part of why you're bringing us in. That's part of the whole black minority thing. We are happy people usually. From the consumer markets, all the way down to the politics. If you want to even get into the customer base itself, to the human resource department and the HR department, all of these perspectives. It is commonly known, everybody knows this shit, y'all. It's a commonly known fact now. If you really pay attention, it's a commonly known fact, at least in most organizations. Your organization may be a little bit behind, but in most organizations, it's a commonly known fact. Though not every corporation knows this, so maybe you heard this for the first time, but 90% of us all know that inherent value of diversity, if it's not there, you're dying a slow death. All your employees know your company's not going to be around. Or either it's not growing. You could be one of those exclusive country clubs, don't let black folks in, and that's great for you. But those employees, they know that they're not going to grow there because no one's dying, the executives aren't moving. Organizations that are diverse are growing. People can start there as a waiter and become the general manager if they're growing. Just saying. If you guys have any questions, anything like that, let me know. I think there's one video here I want to play for you. That's a really great guy. It's a white dude that, let me look for this video number for you. I know you're going to ask me. It's a white dude, and he's pretty much telling everybody about how he is supportive of black. He's talking about Juneteenth, actually. Let me get my list here. He's talking about Juneteenth, and he's really getting into it. And it was so nice. And if you pay attention to the end of it, he's actually talking about it. And someone walks in the office, right? And he's doing this video, right? And it's kind of impressive. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you guys. They're number 14. Joe Bruno is his name, you guys. Joe Bruno is his name. And this guy, you guys, talks about this Juneteenth. And it kind of touched my heart. Yes, 14, you guys. Listen to this white guy talk about Juneteenth. And I want to tell you this. If you've got a white guy who's a leader, who's leading your company like this, you ain't got to worry about your job because he's making sure that shit's okay. He knows not only his history, but he got all the CRT information. He got it. And he's an old dude. Can you please play Mr. Joe?
My name is Joe Bruno with White Response Project. I want to talk a little bit about Juneteenth and what it means to me. It means more than the official celebration of the end of slavery in the U.S. Slavery, something that should never have happened in the first place. To me, Juneteenth means recognition. Recognition to all of the kidnapped Black and brown people that were transported on slave ships across the ocean in the transatlantic slave trade. To those that were thrown overboard on the journey, to those that died in the belly of the ship, to the millions that perished, to all the enslaved people on plantations, in cotton fields and sugarcane fields and other cash crop fields, to all the Black and brown people that were classified as 3/5 of a person in the U.S. Constitution, classified as less than human, hunted down with wanted posters, subject to redlining, housing discrimination, unlawful search and seizures, profiling, underfunded education, limited access to health care, subject to job restrictions, told where to travel by a little green book. To all the Black and brown people that were terrorized and lynched, not just the 6,400 that were documented, but in addition, the thousands that we will never know about that have been murdered and lynched because of the color of their skin. To the lies that have been told about Black and brown people, to the victims of the Tulsa massacre and the 10 plus other similar massacres from around the country, to over 400 years of enslavement, black codes, Jim Crow segregation, and new Jim Crow segregation. An injustice was created in America by white people against black people. Yes, let's celebrate the end of slavery, but more importantly, let's recognize the history and the black and brown bodies that have suffered at the hands of white supremacy. We are in the middle of the battle, not the end. The time to rest is at the end, not now. Until equality and equity come together, until the racist infrastructure and systems have been totally destroyed, the battle has not been won. Slavery, by another name, is still slavery. Joe Bruno with White Response Project.
Lord have mercy, Jesus. I told you he said it good, Joe. I told you he said it good, Joe. I told you he said it good. You guys, if you're A-suite, you need to have that attitude. No matter what the hell goes on with the government, your politicians or whatever, you need to know CRT. You need to know AP history. You need to know American history. You need to know American Indian history. You should know all these things. The days when you could just live in a room and your little sip your tea and the niggas all worked for you, that doesn't work anymore. The reason is because most of the minorities, most of the black folks, they got money now. They're part of your plan. They're part of your growth. And if you don't understand, if you don't get the history, this is Black History Month. We're kicking off Black History Month. If you're not talking like Joe Bruno's talking, then you're not really down for the diversity, bruh. You're not really down. You're not really getting into it. You don't really understand what it is. Because when you understand, because remember, Black Americans, we know you. We know white folks. If I go to the Philippines, I immersed myself in their culture. I've immersed myself into their subcultures. I do know white guys that have come to the Philippines, for example, the passport bros or black, white, whatever. And the white guys that are passport bros and the black guys that are passport bros are very different. They'll learn Spanish to get a girlfriend. We'll learn Spanish to respect your culture and to not have you guys stress out. We will learn to adapt. We'll learn your dances and not mock your dances. We'll learn how to use your taboo, how to do those different things to grow. Because ultimately, we want to grow. We want to understand it. White guys, a lot of times, they could be 25 years in the Philippines and not know one word. It's a different culture. That's all it is. But if you're someone like Joe Bruno and you've actually taken the time to understand what Juneteenth is, and then to not know, just understand what the holiday is, but you know why the holiday and what specific things and how it happened. You see it from now. Now, mind you, he is just talking about Black Americans if we all started in a boat somewhere in the ocean coming to America. He missed the whole kings and queens and professionals and people that back home that were stolen, but he did get the whole kidnap part. But if you're that person and then you're in a boardroom and then you hear, let's do this, you're more open to it because you get it. You get why. When you meet somebody and they've got natural hair or they've got some swag, it doesn't threaten you because maybe he got his own swag. He got his own look. He may even be more partial to the Black workers than he is to some of the other ones because he got a little white guilt going on. So if you're a diverse organization, you don't have to really work on diversity. So the fact that you have a diversity person in your company proves you need one. Just saying that out there. So the other perspective of it, and we're done here tonight, you guys. Happy Black History Month for you guys. But the other perspective of it, again, is diversity equals profits. Come from there. I've been saying it for 10 years here on LinkedIn. Diversity equals profits. That's the raw truth. Forget joy, forget inclusion, forget happiness, forget all those things because we know they don't care. But if they making money, we know they happy. And then if they happy, we know our position, then we're happy. So let's be real about the things that we're telling these people, because then what happens is the B and the C and the D and the F and the G and the H suites at these companies all fall in line, because all of a sudden they start getting bonuses. They start getting Christmas checks again. They start getting turkeys on Thanksgiving again. All of a sudden, Black History Month is fun. They got food and fried chicken and all every day. The Black folks is happy. You know, white folks love free food. White folks love a little Hennessy or something in the evening. All of a sudden, it becomes this, okay, I get it. It's not this, oh, affirmative action, ooh. So come from the profit side. So again, you guys, Kareem Jackson live on the set. I'm really glad that you guys are here. We are talking early. Thank you, brother. Tomorrow, we're here early. We're going to switch this up. They've got me in the studio tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock in the Philippines. It's 8 o'clock in the evening. So I'm going to see you again. I'm going to see you 2 days in America. You're going to see me tonight. I'm going to see you, this morning in America. I'm going to see you tonight. And tomorrow, we're talking about, I think it's Passport Bros again. We're revisiting that. And then Friday, again, a morning show for the Philippines. So that's an evening show in the US. We're talking about We All Niggas Now. You guys wanted me to do this monologue again, so we're going to do it again this time. I'm going to see if I can give all the things that we have. You saw the podcast, and you guys love that. It's really great. It's clickbait for the whole nigga situation. But the truth of it is, if you look at all the things that are happening, we are kind of all niggas right now. Before I go, you guys, I'm sorry. Passport Bros, you guys, we are not forgetting you. We have this trip coming this year. I want to plug this again to make sure that you guys understand. Passport Bros, we're trying to give you guys a better platform. We want you guys to be invited by the Department of Tourism, invited by the U.S. Embassy, celebrities, resorts in the Philippines. We want to show you that it's more than just dating and girls and things like that. So the Passport Bros, stay tuned for that. We're going to have an entire situation. If you have the banner, you can show it to them. Coming up, you guys, for Passport Bros. So keep that in mind. We're going to eventually put more things together and more things out there. You guys have been pushing us to push this more and to talk more about it, because we have a slew of Passport Bros. The difference is, thank you, yes, that one. We have a slew of Passport Bros that have been out here and asking us, okay, after you figure out how wonderful you are and how happy you are, and then you find the girl or the guy of your dreams, now you're in love and all that, now what? So Passport Bros, this takeover here in the Philippines this summer, you guys, the King's Landing comes down. You can reserve your spots for that. You can sponsor and be part of that. It's going to be held at a Bali-style resort with Rachel LeBlanco. Soon we're going to have a commercial and show you the resorts and stuff, but we're trying to bring these guys out here. You can actually come to the tour anytime, so you don't have to actually wait for the group time. You can come to the Philippines and experience and do this anytime you want. You saw the flowers back here. We have our own shop coming soon, actually, just in time for Valentine's Day in February, Black History Month. So if you guys have a boo in the Philippines, we can send flowers directly to them. I think around $20, $30, $50. So it's cheaper than the USA. That's which part of the reason why you're a Passport Bro. But you can send that love of your life some flowers directly to their door. And a lot of you guys, if you want to check and make sure that they're living there and everything's cool, a good way to passively send and do a checkup is to send some flowers. They're delivered in their hands. You saw the video earlier, and those flowers go directly to them. So thank you guys very much for being here. Kareem Jackson live on the set. LinkedIn Live, Facebook, YouTube, all of you guys, TikTok, thank you. We're going to see you later. Cheers, you guys. Thanks, Mal. Thanks, Julius. Thanks, Julia. I love you guys very much. Thanks, Ian, as well. I appreciate you. And run those credits, you guys. Hey, you guys, Kareem Jackson, you were live on the set. I've got some news to tell you. 10 years ago, I left California, USA on the beach, and I got on a plane. I went to the tropics, and I reinvented myself. I wanted to turn my dreams into reality. I had a great time, great friend. I published magazines, books. I meditated. I sipped coconuts, you guys. I had tattoo competition, weekly shows, and I want you guys to know I sat down, and I wanted to write step by step how I did it. How did I get free? How did I outsource everything? How did I get to where I could run my company from my laptop?
And now I finished it. It is done. My new book, you guys, Outsource Everything, is out now. I finished it. I'm telling you all about how I gained my freedom, how I live in the tropics next to the beach in a beautiful lifestyle, that I still run my business. I outsource everything. My new ebook, it's out now, you guys. It's available right now, you guys. I made it to where freedom is here for you. You can get the same freedom that I did. It's totally possible, and it's totally doable. And this has never been a better time than to do it. Grab my new ebook, Outsource Everything, on Google Play and the App Store, you guys. And of course, KareemAntonio.com/my ebook. Outsource Everything. Outsource Everything, How to Be a Minimalist CEO by Kareem Jackson. Introduction for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Presented by Kane Co America and the Chunkston Group.
To break free.
Oh my God, you guys are still here. Hey, okay, you guys, I'm so glad you're still here. I'm so glad you stuck around to the end, because I want to show you some more about my book. I'm so excited about this. Outsource Everything, out now, you guys. It's out now. Go grab it. On my website, you guys, KareemAntonio.com. You can go to the App Store, any of these places, and go grab it. I want you to sit down, ponder this, and think about, why do I have the stress I have? Why am I working so hard? Why am I a slave to my business? Why do I not have more freedom? There's folks all over the world looking that can outsource to you. I'm going to introduce you to this, tell you why you don't need that new car. You don't need that bling bling. You don't need that house right now. Outsource everything. Get free. What good is that money? What good is all that fame and fortune if you are working every day like it's a job? Freedom is here. It's here for you, you guys. Grab my ebook, you guys. Outsource Everything. Google Play, the App Store, and of course, KareemAntonio.com/my ebook. Go grab it, you guys.